Hey, friends. Well, it's lunchtime here at my office where I hang out during the day and make these videos for you. And today I've packed in my lunch this Tangelo, a little cross between a tangerine and an orange. I like Tangelos. Now, this one feels a little soft, and that's because it's been hanging out in my refrigerator probably for a little longer. I maybe should have eaten it before, but I think it's going to be okay. I think if I peel it, it should be okay. But did you ever eat a soft orange, one that was turning bad, or even a banana, not like this one, but a banana that might have been a more brown, and when you went to peel it, it was gushy? Yeah, not so good to eat. Or an apple that was turning brown or really soft, and when you cut it or opened it or bit into it, it was yucky. Well, bad fruit is just not good to eat, is it? Well, did you ever hear the proverb, a bad apple spoils the bunch? Yeah, a bad apple spoils the bunch. And it is true that if there is a rotten apple with a bunch of good apples, the good apples can start to rot because of the influence of this bad apple. Now, we use the term bad apple to actually refer to people who create problems or cause troubles for others. We call them bad apples. And they can be even a member of a group whose behavior reflects poorly on the group, or it impacts or influences negatively the remainder of the group. Like Joe. Joe's a bad apple. You know, Joe is such a bad apple that after 5 minutes with my usually well behaved kids, they're all acting out. Well, that's an example of how Joe has influenced others to be also bad. If someone is a bad apple or a rotten apple, they usually are very dishonest or unpleasant, and they have a bad influence on the people around them. You know, there's a teacher of sociology who wrote this: the best way to deal with bad apples is to take them out of the group as quickly as possible. Wow, sounds a little harsh, but there's truth to that. You know, today we hear about people who are called influencers, people who have an impact on others, people who can influence our thinking and even our actions. And what kind of an influencer are you? What kind of an influencer do you like to hang out with? Do you want them to have a good or a bad influence on you? Jesus said that we are people who can influence others. He said in Matthew 5:13, "You are the salt of the earth. But suppose the salt loses its saltiness. How can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything. It will be thrown out. People will walk all over it." So he was referencing the fact that as salt is good to help preserve food, if the salt loses its saltiness, it becomes sort of like that bad apple. No good. The Apostle Paul worked at convincing others to understand the good news of God. In Acts 14:15, he says to some people who are influencers and trying to get people to understand philosophy, he says, "Friends, why are you doing this? We are only human, just like you. We are bringing you good news. So turn away from these worthless things, these worthless teachings. Turn to the living God. He is the one who made the heavens and the earth and the sea. He made everything in them." Paul was attempting to be a positive influencer. You know, Jesus warned us against the bad influencers. In fact, he had some pretty harsh things to say about people who caused others to sin. Matthew 18:6 says, "What if someone causes one of these little children who believe in me to sin? If they do, it would be better for these influencers to have a large millstone hung around their neck and be drowned at the bottom of the sea." Now that is pretty harsh, isn't it? So, I have been thinking about this a little bit, and I found this verse that I really like, Isaiah 65:8. And I don't remember ever reading this verse in this context. It says, "The Lord says, sometimes juice is still left in grapes that have been crushed. So people say, don't destroy them. They are still of some benefit. That is what I will do for the good of those who serve me. I will not destroy all my people." I like that verse. I like the fact that though the grapes may seem to be done or useless or no good, not able to influence, yet God says that he can still use them. You know, even though bad apples can affect the other apples, God can change things for the better. And that is the gospel of Jesus, the good news, that God can redeem even the bad things about us, the bad things about bad influencers, the bad things about bad apples, and He can make all things new, and He can change things for the better or for the good. So, today, I don't want to hang around those things that are bad. The bad fruits, the soft fruits, the bad apples, the yucky bananas. No, I want to hang around the good apples, the good fruits, the good bananas, and I want to be that kind of influencer for others. I hope that you too want to be a good influence on the people around you. So you have a day filled with joy and a day filled with peace, and be a good influencer, a good apple